Our new store manager decided that cashiers sitting down at the registers looked lazy, so he took every stool off the front end. In 2 weeks, he was bagging groceries by himself. Mr. Larkin had been at our store for less than 3 months when he decided the cashiers looked unprofessional, and the first thing he did about it was pull the stools. In 2 weeks, he was bagging groceries by himself. He arrived in his late 30s, transferred from another branch, convinced that what was holding our store back from regional recognition was the way the front end looked. His very first morning, he walked the registers with a notepad and wrote down every cashier who was leaning, every cashier who was chewing gum, and every cashier who was perched on one of the small padded stools that had sat at every register since the store opened. Those stools were nothing special, just something a person could settle onto between customers so their knees and back did not give out by hour 6 of an 8-hour shift. Half our cashiers were over 50. 2 had had knee surgery. 1 had a doctor's note about her lower back that had been on file for years. By the end of his first week, the stools were gone. The memo he sent was titled Professional Standards on the Sales Floor, and it said that sitting at a register gave a lazy and unwelcoming impression, and that energy and posture were now part of performance reviews. It did not mention the doctor's notes. It did not mention the handbook. When 2 of the older cashiers asked, very politely, if they could keep their stools for medical reasons, he told them we did not want to set a precedent, and they were welcome to see how it went for a few weeks. One of them was a woman named Rosalind. She had been a cashier at that store for 19 years, and she did not argue. She just nodded and said all right, and then she went and pulled out the handbook. Rosalind had helped train half the staff, and she knew every policy in that book. And what she found in section 4 was the thing that ended Mr. Larkin. The handbook said that any employee experiencing physical fatigue that could affect performance or safety was entitled to a recovery break of up to 10 minutes, and that supervisors could not deny such a break without written justification logged with HR. The whole break room read it together during lunch. Nobody had ever needed that policy before, because the stools had made it unnecessary. Without the stools, it was the only policy that mattered. The next morning, Rosalind started her shift, worked an hour, and walked off the floor to sit in the break room with a cold water bottle against her knee for 9 minutes. Mr. Larkin came over when she got back and asked where she had been. She told him calmly that she had taken a fatigue break under section 4 of the handbook. He told her that was not what those breaks were for. She told him she had a doctor's note on file and her knees hurt from standing. He told her not to do it again. She did it again 2 hours later. By the second day, everyone was doing it. Coraline took a fatigue break for her back. Mateo took one for foot cramps. Ren, the youngest cashier on staff, a 20-year-old working her way through school who had only been there 4 months, took one for dizziness 90 minutes into her shift, and then another for general fatigue. Nobody was lying. Standing on hard tile for 8 hours actually makes your knees ache and your feet cramp and your back tighten, and the handbook had been written for exactly that reason, which meant Mr. Larkin could not refuse without putting the company at risk. He tried to refuse anyway. He started telling people verbally to get back to their registers. Rosalind asked him calmly to put the denial in writing and submit the justification to HR as the policy required. He would not put it in writing. So Coraline called the HR line from the break room and asked, very politely, whether a supervisor could deny a fatigue break without written justification. HR called Mr. Larkin within the hour and told him he could not deny those breaks. After that, the breaks could not be stopped. Every 20 minutes, another cashier walked off the floor, sometimes 3 at a time. The lines at the front grew until they wrapped past the deli counter. Customers complained at the service desk all shift. One left her full cart in the middle of the aisle and walked out. Another asked for the manager and left a complaint with the service desk. Mr. Larkin was running from register to register, bagging groceries himself with his sleeves rolled up, looking like he had not slept and was not going to.